March 15th.
March 15th. That's right. It's hard to get the dates and everything right when you're doing this.
Especially when you're traveling.
Yeah, it's true. It's
and
true.
we didn't wear, well, I have a little bit of green on, but do we have any green on for St. Patrick's Day?
The St. Patrick's Day is the 17th. It's the Ides of March today.
That's true, but it's usually, this would be our time to wear green for a program.
Oh, yeah, I guess so. But no. No, I have not.
Okay, that's all right.
Well, you guys, it's Facebook Live. It's Free Tip Friday here on Bean Shop Live. Let me make sure I can see all of us together. And make sure that we're up and running. I was logged into the wrong.
What is that show on Saturday Night Live? The old one, the really old one where Jane Curtin and they used to speak in the song.
No.
It was the NPR thing.
Yeah,
and then
it
Alec
was
Baldwin
with
would come on with the sweaty balls. What was that one called?
It was called Delicious Dish.
Yes, yes.
With it wasn't Jane Curtin. It was with what's her name, Molly Shannon and. Trying to remember the other actress's name.
But you and I reminded me
Delicious
of
Dish.
Delicious Dish.
Delicious Dish. It's so true.
Oh yes, Delicious Dish.
Well, let me make sure that we are. It looks like we're up. Let's see if anyone else is watching our ramblings today, shall we?
Okay. My hair looks a little better today.
It does.
Maybe.
Well, everyone.
I need to get out the scissors
again. But not on. I know that Free Tip Friday is a
on.
little more casual, but not that casual.
Okay.
There we go. I'm gonna see if everybody's here. Yep, here we are.
See, I have those curls sticking up.
There we are. Look at everybody's here. Oh, look at that. Great. Everybody,
Hi, Gita.
Everybody's here. Good. I can see all y'all.
And are you able to see us on YouTube also?
Yeah, I think we're up.
Oh, good.
So,
good.
I think we are. First, let me turn all of this off. I don't need that. Here's our YouTube channel. If we're running on Facebook, then we're on YouTube.
Okay.
For sure. Yep, and here we are.
Okay. Well, I've had a great week here with Kate and Chris and Cara and Baranduin. Adria's been on the East Coast, and Myra and Jenny and Karen, who we're sending a big shout out to at home, who's recuperating from surgery.
Still has her surgery.
We miss you. And to my Virginia tribe, Ashley and Dan, and a special shout out to Eli, who's learning his fractions this week.
Wow.
So, I miss you guys, but it's been really fun being here.
Yeah, we've had fun. We have worked on, I'm just moving all of my devices here.
I'm curious how you do all this.
This is how.
You're like, this is great.
Here. All of these things. We've worked.
This week, yes.
We have worked. It's
new
been
products,
fun.
New projects,
all
new
kinds of new
curated
great
boxes.
stuff. Yeah, we've got some new stuff.
Yeah.
We've got some great new products coming. So all of that, as you say, today's the 15th of March. We have in the next few months some great things rolling out.
Yeah.
I also wanted to tell you guys just real quick about we've got something coming up in April. That we are rolling out. We have, and thanks to Allie Morey, who's heading this up, we have Allie and 3 other fantastic, illustrious beadshop.com bead table members who are rolling out an amazing, what we're calling the Bead Shop design team.
Yeah, it's just amazing.
Yeah, and the design team, we're going to let you guys know who those design team members are and what they're going to be working on. Coming up in the next few weeks, and I think you guys are going to love what they're going to do. We are in so full gratitude mode to our design team members. You guys are going to love what they're going to put together. A couple of them may be even watching right now. You never know.
Yep.
So we're gonna talk about more about that soon. But that's something that's coming down the pike that we're really, really excited about. So what else, Janice? You fly out this weekend on Sunday. You'll be back.
I go back on Sunday, and then a week from this coming Saturday, I have the get together at my casa.
Yes, at Chez Janice,
which
so
is going to be fun.
It's going to be fun.
About 15.
Yeah.
Have RSVP'd.
Yeah, it's going to be
I'm
great.
at kind of full capacity now because it's in my apartment.
Yeah.
But there'll be another one, and then we're talking here about starting to do classes.
Yeah, we've got classes will be coming up soon. There'll be more announcements about that coming up. Emily, as you guys know, is coming back at the end of the month, which is going to be great. We're rolling out some new super duos at the end of the month, and Emily has spent a lot of time communing with the herringbone stitch.
Yeah.
So when I talked to her yesterday on the phone, she said, "Kate, I've got a lot to say about it." So it's gonna be an epic Emily episode. So mark your calendars, not next week. Next week I'm doing patterning with stones, which is gonna be fun. We're gonna talk about
it looks gorgeous.
It's
gorgeous
really
so
been great.
far.
You know, I had Jenny do a little bit of stringing yesterday. She and Myra picked some really cool palettes for me to share with you guys tomorrow. Next Wednesday. It's already next Wednesday in my head. But you guys are going to love those. And Jenny, I had Jenny do some stringing, which I'm going to share some of her patterning ideas, which was cool. So it's going to be fun. We're going to talk about mixing it up. It's going to be a cool broadcast.
And it's
I'm
nice
excited.
to get a new spin on it, because I know that I pick up beads, and no matter what I do, and the same with you out there, you'll find that you do a certain rhythm. You can't help it. It's just the way your bead DNA is.
Right.
And to get Jenny's take on it, or someone, you know, Emily's take, or Myra's take, or the new design team, for them to take the same materials and to do their riff on it is just...
It's super helpful.
The same when you pick up the materials, you do your spin on it. And so we're excited to expand our
reach. Yeah, it's going to be great. Well, we are going to talk today about our tassels here and about this wrist mala. So Janice, I am going to move the camera around so everybody can see. And you guys may remember, I think it was a Free Tip Friday, I think maybe from last year, or it even may have been from the year before, when we did some tassels. We did some tassel making. And you'll see, you guys, when I turn the camera around, as I walk around to turn the camera around here, we did some playing around with twisted cords and stuff like that. Emily made, and you'll see it on the tassel that I'm going to show you guys here. She made a really cool, there we go, a really cool peyote stitch piece.
Oh, this one,
that one there. That's really pretty. And so we're going to talk about, there's Janice's wrist mala right front and center, so you guys can kind of see what's going on there. And then we're going to talk a little bit about kind of these other pieces here as well. And you can go back and find that Free Tip Friday. Gita is on the linking, so I'm sure that we'll find that one for you guys too. But tassels, I think, are kind of an essential. You know that we went over the tassel in this mala, our Never Stop Growing mala. And Faye, over on the bead table, Faye has already posted her take on
her
this.
mala. It's just amazing.
Which was really, she called it Mala Mine, which was great. And what I loved about Faye's tassel is that she made it a little longer. She's trying to decide whether or not she's going to cut it a little shorter. I love that long, luscious mala. But she did her silk wrapping, so her tassel was all in one color.
It's just beautiful.
It was gorgeous. So we're going to kind of go over some of the tassels and stuff, probably at the end. But Janice, why don't we focus in on your the wrist mala that you've got here, and talk a little bit about why you did it this way. And I know a lot of you guys watch the broadcast on Wednesday, but let's go over it and just see what we've got going on.
Well, I wanted to do something in the way of a companion piece for the the regular mala.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember growing up at my mom's store and seeing worry beads and also just beads that you'd wear, beautiful 10 millimeter fire polish, with their vitrol half coating and the scaraby coating.
Right.
And they would be strung on chain.
Right.
And I started to think, well, what could we string the wrist mala on that is really going to last a lifetime?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want someone I'm always thinking when I'm making something, if I'm having trouble with it, then that's going to be compounded by thousands of people over the years who are just going to be emailing us and saying, my thread broke, my chain came out, it didn't last. And so I said, if we take the large hole beads, instead of just the regular semi-precious, and we use a chain that has a link large enough so that we can wire wrap. So you see here what I've done is that I've created enough chain so that you can move the beads along easily, because that's what you want to do, is you want to rub them between your fingers and to say, okay, I'm sitting here in traffic, but I'm okay. I'm sitting here in traffic,
Right.
but I'm okay. And then I wanted a link large enough that I could wire wrap 20 gauge wire. Thinner than that, and this would wear out.
Yeah, that wouldn't have enough
So
stability.
I finally got it down to the perfect chain I thought was little keyhole. And so the first thing that you want to do is you want to measure how long the chain you want to be. And the way I do that, Kate, if you want to give me your wrist,
Sure.
is
Let me make
that
this a little bit bigger.
is that I measure the widest part, what I call the hips of the wrist, right here. And so, because you want it to roll over, you can't stretch it because it's chain. And so if you look at this is just about at 8 inches. I don't know, can you see that?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, so that's about 8 inches. So you measure this wide part of your wrist because you don't want it to roll off. You want it to just stay on. So you start with the length of chain that's going to, and you have to make it a little bigger because the beads. So this is the widest part of this. If I go like this is, let me lay this down and we'll measure it.
So you got the tape measure?
Yeah, I do, and I'm just going to make a right turn so
You know where you're going?
right. So this is just a hair over 8 inches. And then you have to factor in a little bit that these beads create some thickness against your wrist, but not that much. 8 inches will roll on. You also have to factor in that you've got this wire wrap.
I'm going to move you up, JP, just a touch. Okay.
This wire wrap here also is going to add, if you can see that, about that much. So that little...
Maybe almost a quarter, well, not quite a quarter of an inch,
Yeah.
really.
This sort of takes up the width of the beads so that you don't really have to make it longer than what you've measured, because this little bit of the eye wrap, the loop, is going to give you enough space so that you can roll it on. So you can at this point, you have some cutters over there. You could cut your chain.
And one of the things when Janice was choosing her little keyholes chain, and you're wondering why, again, she talked about the right chain was little keyholes. Well, she also, remember how Janice is using 20 gauge here on the wire. If she was using 18 gauge, this little keyhole may not work. Right. It may
It'd be too. In fact, it didn't work. It was too heavy.
It was too heavy. So you really have to test whatever wire is in there. Slide it through the chain to make sure that it works.
And you actually have to try your beads and make sure your beads fit. So then all you're going to do is you're going to string on. Most wrist malas are 20 beads. I mean, that's just, I don't know why. I don't think that there's anything spiritual that I know of about the 20 beads, but why don't I string this up and you can talk, you want to talk a little bit about the tassel?
Sure, about what the tassels we've got going?
Yeah.
Sure. So let's take a look. I actually want to bring this guy in.
Yeah.
I'm going to actually, Janice, have
You're
you
going to move me to,
I'm
sure.
going to scoot you over
I don't
just
need
a
prime
touch.
time. I don't
And
need
I'm going to
prime.
move this over just a little bit.
Okay.
So people can still see you on the stringing. Where's that awl, JP? Do you
It's
have it
right
over
here.
there?
Yeah,
I
it's
need
right
it
here.
all. There
All
we go.
for one.
All for one. So here's the little tassel that we've got going on. You remember from earlier, from last week, we had the little tassel template that we made, okay?
Was that last week or was that just 2 days ago?
Last week, or 2 days ago, whatever.
2 days ago.
Who are you? And what are you doing? Who are all you people? From Wednesday, we did the tassel template, and we made that long one. Well, for the shorter tassel here, we did the same thing. I took just a little piece of cardboard, and we cut it at 1.5 inches, and that's what we're going to wrap around. So we used the tough cord for that. Now, the tough cord that you make the tassel out of, you can make the tassel out of anything. And the tassels that I have here, that I want to just slide in, I have used some other things. I'm going to get in a little tighter so you guys can see that. Before I actually wrap this tassel up, I want you guys to see these real quick. Let me see if I can get them in the shot here.
Am I in your way?
No, you're doing fine. I just need to move these over. There we go. That looks good. So you guys can see here with this little tassel lineup, I've used everything but the kitchen sink in here. Here I've used our compassion suede, right, Janice? That suede cord.
Yeah.
Right? That's
3 millimeter.
Chinese, yeah, the Chinese knotting cord.
That looks like an size 8.
I've used, I think I used 5.
Really?
Actually, yeah.
Okay.
So, but this is the 0.5 right here.
Okay.
Though you could use 8. I used some leather cords. I've used in this one, I've used regular Ceylon. I've used Ceylon in different weights. So you can see there's a whole variety of stuff going on in these
And that's
tassels.
what makes it even more interesting is that you have so many different textures.
Different textures, exactly. And this, see, here's that peyote stitch. When Emily and I did the, I think it was like the, I don't know, there was one she did, it was a guy bracelet that we did a peyote tube, but we have several several YouTubes or Facebook Lives for this one. But all Emily did was she made this, I think this peyote is actually in flat peyote,
and then
she zipped it up the side. Yeah, is what she did here. And on the very bottom there's a little picot there too. So you could do the silk wrap like this, or you could do this peyote stitch here, whatever you
could
like.
also wire wrap.
You could wire wrap it, definitely, around here to hold it closed.
Yeah.
You could use a crimp. There's all kinds of stuff that you could
use.
macrame. You could macrame
and
over
then
it.
bring your threads up through if you wanted.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot you could do with it. So with the with this tassel, we're going to use like we did before. And while Janice is wire wrapping that, I'll be making this tassel. But we've used the hematite, the number 1, and I'm going to wrap it around this
very high
template.
tech.
Very high tech.
Very
template.
high tech.
And remember, you guys, when you're wrapping the front and the back. So don't judge how thick your tassel is going to be just by what you've got on the front. Remember, those two mesh together. So you might think, oh, it's perfect size, and then you take it off, you're all, oh, this is way too much tassel, or it's way too little, or whatever.
It wouldn't
so
also
keep that in
hurt
mind.
To kind of count, which we didn't do. Count
the turns.
If
Sure.
you're doing more than one, keep a jot down.
Mm-hmm.
I went 18 times or
Right.
something instead of guessing.
Right, every time for the future.
Yeah.
Well, you want to go ahead and I'll give you, you can see there's your screen right there. So you need to be a little further up.
Okay, so
and I'll go ahead and wrap this.
I have the 20 gauge wire, and I can move over here a little bit, Kate. I don't need all these.
No, it's okay. I can follow you. It doesn't matter.
Okay, good times. Well, I'm going to
Will
put.
you hand me the thread strips though? While
Yes,
you're over there?
yes.
Perfect, thank you.
So I'm cutting, I guess, about 4 inches, 3.5 inches. I'm always on the generous side.
Mm-hmm.
I never like to have like a little tiny bit to work with. And then I'm going to take the round nose. And remember, in this here, I wanted a nice generous loop. So I'm just going to go sort of more at the 1.5 inch mark. The biggest part of my plier, the round nose, and I'm just going to create a loop here.
And do remember that even if Janice is going to go over this kind of quickly, over on our skill builders at beadshop.com, you can find the full wire wrapping tutorial.
Yeah, now I made like a chumbo, which is way too big. If it looks like too horsey to you, then it's too big. But you can easily like make it smaller, bring it down to size. The wire is still very pliable. Then I'm just going to open this, and that's kind of the first thing you want to do is you want to get this chain. You could put tape on the ends of it. I probably should, but am I in the screen here, Kate?
You need to come a little bit higher, Janice.
Okay, so let me come up here.
You can see where you are right here.
Oh, here, okay. Okay, there we go. So I'm gonna come right here. I'm holding both ends of it so I don't lose it. And then I'm gonna put them both on into the loop. And there you go. So if you wanted to, walk away and get this project at another time, you're not ready to figure out what you want, I would definitely get onto the wire because the beads are like little kittens and they're impossible to herd. So I've got them on here now. They're pretty secure. And then I'm going to straighten this one up.
Yep, that long wire.
The long
and
wire.
notice how Janice is using her bent chain nose pliers
Yeah,
there?
I interchange them back and forth. So I'm going to hold this.
The bent chain is one of my favorites.
Yeah, so I'll straighten this up. Make sure it's the size I want it. I think I could even make this just a tad bit smaller.
Maybe. But you want the loop to be large enough so that everything moves freely.
Right, exactly.
It's about the same size.
Exactly. And then I will grab this. This is what I like to do. I grab my loop with my nose, and then I will wrap, let go, pick it up again. And it's like watching tennis. I just keep my eye on where I'm wrapping. I don't even think about anything else. And then you're going to wrap the wire around your plier tips. So you have to let go. And I like to kind of wiggle as I go. In life, I wiggle as I go. And I don't like to make this too long because then that also looks to me like a beginner. And there's nothing wrong with being a beginner, the wrap shouldn't be too long.
Our default is like around 3 wraps.
Yeah, it's around 3. Yeah. It also, if the neck is called, so this is how I refer to it. This is called the head. The part you're wrapping is the neck. Then the wire going around is the scarf. And then the top of the bead is the shoulders. Teach it at the bead shop. You had the head, you had the neck, you had the scarf, and you had the shoulders. So then I'm going to cut this where I want it, and I put my finger over it so that it can't go flying. And that's from years of having students not, like leaning over you. And then this is something that's a little different than what you do. I take the chain nose and I point it in. And then I pick up the tip of the wire, and in the direction that it's going, I use my bent chain nose to tuck it in.
So burnish it down.
Yeah, so that then I feel, that feels good. Because this is going to go against your skin, and you don't want any little burrs. Now, I am going to show you, I put on the hedgehog thinking, oh, the hedgehog will work. and the hedgehog doesn't because it goes all the way up. Now you could do this. You could have the hedgehog bead cover your wire wrap, but I wanted the wire wrap to show. So I then came and I took one of the matte wood opalite rondelles, put this on, and then that looked good to me, but the hedgehog bead wiggles around on the
wire.
Yeah.
Because the hole's so large.
Right. So
and just real quick before you take those out, Janice, you decided to use the wire wrap to connect the chain instead of adding chain to jump ring, then jump ring to wire wrap loop, just so that this is an all-inclusive loop, right? So it doesn't pull out. If we had a jump ring in between, it wouldn't.
I wouldn't use a
tassel.
jump. I really think they're called jump rings for a reason, because they jump right off. It's a good idea. A jump ring, if it's closed properly,
And it's the
last, but it won't last on worry beads.
right.
No matter how good you are at closing that jump ring, the wear and tear of going back and forth, throwing it in your pocket, putting it in the well in your car, this is something that's going to get a lot of use. So you have to think about what beads you're going to use. Are they do they have a lot of coating on them? Are they, going to lose that aurora borealis finish on them? So you want, I would say, a stone bead is really the best. So I came up to this, and Kate, I found that the little hedgehog, it was just moving around, and I didn't want that. I thought that kind of was a little, I don't know, I want to say agricultural. So if you can take any bead. Am I in?
I'm going to have you move over. You can be a little closer because I can follow you.
Okay. So I did with some beads what would work inside the hole. And I found that maybe a 6 or 8/0. This is an 8/0. This just it doesn't wiggle anymore. See, it's just. So all you want to do is just fill that up with anything. No one's going to see it.
And they're acting as just like little stopper beads
right
inside.
They're just making the hole of the hedgehog, because Cynthia at Green Girl really makes almost all her beads with really big holes.
Yeah, because she uses them a lot on cord. And
right. So if you were stringing a necklace and you wanted to use a bead with a big hole on soft flex, you can. You just want to fill up that empty tunnel. Okay, and then I'm going to just put this bead on here, and then we're ready to wait until we have. I want to wire wrap the tassel to this.
So I was thinking about how we would connect this here. Let me get this a little bit over here, a little bit more. And so you want to make the loop part first, right? Before you wire wrap it. And we would slide it underneath there. Is that how you did it?
Yeah. You can also start from this end and go up. It's equal part of one or the other. We did it this way first to instruct on how much the length of the chain. But you could also create your completed tassel, have a long piece of wire, and then do the beads at the top. Yeah, but all I would do here is I don't want to lose these beads. So I'm going to just bend it back. And then I can make a loop. Now this has to be if you look at this here, this is a pretty big loop. My tassel is I think a little bit, maybe not thicker than yours, but you need a pretty generous loop there to capture all the cords. So I'm just going to make a nice generous loop, and then we're ready to put it through the tassel. You could also, Kate, if you wanted, you could use any piece of craft wire let's just do it that much, no more than
Mhm.
that. So do we want to put that through there
Yeah,
now, or do you
so
want to just do the,
What I think, yeah, we can kind of,
open it up a little
yeah,
bit?
I'm gonna just kind of get that nice and round, and then we're gonna open it up a little bit, kind of like a jump ring.
Okay.
And then I was gonna so a
Yeah.
little bit here. Undo that guy. And last time, what we did and I do it sometimes when I'm doing tassels, I'll go ahead and I'll kind of cut all of the little guys away. But it made our tassel on Wednesday
Sort of unwieldy.
a little unruly.
Yeah, because the thread's so thin.
Mm-hmm, because this thread's thin.
Yeah.
With something like this, that's these thicker guys, it's a little bit easier to hang on to. So I'm going
I
to...
kind of curl,
Yeah.
I curl the cardboard.
I'm actually going to cut it
Okay.
off so it's a little... And then I'm going to just slide this sucker off.
Right.
And tassels, I have one, I didn't even bring it, maybe I should go, I have one sitting in my office too, which I kind of love, that I made so long ago. So now you guys, once it's at the edge like this, all we have to do is we get our loop and we get this in, we're going to get it right underneath there. So see how everything
exactly.
is underneath there? And then I just turn the corner and see how, let me get in a little tighter here so you can see this. So see how that's captured everything, and you can also check and see if your loop is the right size. Okay, so now I'm just going to
Pull it off.
pull it off. Okay, there it is. So now this is it's almost, I think it's about the same size. I don't know, I
Yeah.
didn't count how many you guys did, but so you can see here what I do at this point, which is why I want my wire to be kind of at that right angle when I do this, because I can either wire wrap this right now, or I could just come in and do my silk wrap here. And so maybe that's what I'll do.
Okay.
Do you have a...
I don't
do you
have the oyster,
The oyster, oh.
but I have this really pretty celadon,
Okay.
which I think is a nice choice. So, there you
So
go.
here's the regular seal-on, and just like Janice and I did on Wednesday.
2 days ago.
You know what? When Facebook Lives are done,
You can't remember.
forward. I'm like, when was that? Someone also brought up the tassel making episode that my mom and I did. That was what it was. We did it on a Free Tip Friday, and my mom and I were at the quilt retreat.
Yes, yes.
And we did that Free Tip Friday then. It was really fun. So that silk wrap, I come around and you can see I've got that loop underneath about 1/3 to 2/3, 1/3 of the thread being here, about 2/3 being here. Now I'm just going to start to wrap. That first, so important to get that first wrap. If I screw around with it too much, I lose my grip. So let me get that loop back up nice and big. It's important to get that first wrap nice and snug around where you want your wrap to start, because that kind of dictates all of your wraps coming afterwards, right? I'm just going to go like 3 here, then I'm going to switch hands. It's, again, a little unwieldy with that hedgehog there, but you've got it. And see how, just like I'd be wrapping wire, I keep my tension going. I have tension pulling towards me with this hand, tension pulling away with my left hand, and I lay those wraps just one against the other. Then I can kind of hold it in place here, and I can see how long that kind of collar is, and I think that looks good.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I'm just going to kind of push this
You're going to bring the long tail through the loop.
through that loop. Just slide it on through.
Yeah. So what's basically happening is that when you pull the short end, it's pulling that loop, the knot, into the tunnel.
Yeah, so see, here's my short end. Here's the loop, and there's the tunnel. And see how I'm going to just come in and just slowly and smoothly. You want to make sure Remember how Janice was talking about not having a twist in your thread when we were doing those last knots on her mala? It's the same thing here. You don't want to twist in this take-up loop, or else it's not going to slide everything underneath. So make sure that loop doesn't have a twist. See how it gets, I want to get it really tight so you guys can see that. See, that's where it's captured, just there. Now I can let go of the other side and just finagle.
Is that it gets pulled up over here.
And it pops up here.
And you can see a little bit of the loop here. So all you do is you pull it back that way. You can go back and forth and back and forth. But that, once it's in the middle, and it's sort of like seeing literally a snake crawling under the sand. And you can see where the loop or the density of the snake is moving. It is right under in the middle here.
And that's why when I pull, I secure it and then I get my finger under there, because then I can feel it and I know when it's stopping there. So now you can see we've got a lot more control over our threads here. So I'm going to start by just clipping this away and clipping this away, being very careful not to snip anything else. And that's when I can come in and clip everything open. And so, you know, it just depends on how cavalier you're feeling about it that day, I think, right? So.
Well, I think with the very thinner threads, keeping it
corralled.
Keeping it corralled until you can snip
Look
it.
how nice that looks.
That looks great.
So now it's time to wire wrap that close. You want to wire wrap it, JP?
Sure.
I'm going to grab that other, because we're going to look at the other tassels. I think I have that one right in my office. I'm going to grab it real quick while you wire wrap that.
Okay.
And then you can see where you are, Janice. I have you really tight in this screen.
I'm right here.
There you are. Perfect.
There I go. Okay. So I want to I'm going to grab my tassel, and then I'm going to take this wire and I'm just going to wrap it around. I have to change hands because I have to get others on the wrong side. I want to make sure that I'm going to bring it all the way up to where this little wood opalite bead is. And you want to just be careful that your tools don't crack your beads, that you are bringing it in tight, but not so tight that the beads are forced to crack. So just be a little, sensitive to that.
Yeah, just calm it down then.
Yeah, calm it down. Straight on. So what I would do, I can see that I just want to hold this, and then I want to just move this so that it's just make sure that they're perpendicular to each other. I think I want them perpendicular. Let's do them parallel. There we go. You're never wrong by starting out going parallel. Okay, so there we go. We've got this done.
That looks great.
Well, you made a great tassel. I didn't really do anything.
Let's get up really close on it.
Okay.
And then I want to talk about some of the tassels that I have in front of you, or in front of us today. And I want to share a couple of other tips for making your tassels. And you can see what Janice has here on her little hedgehog. Where's the original so we can see where? Is it on your wrist? My wrist? There it is. She also added, just like we did I did make my tassel a little bit slimmer, but it doesn't make any difference really. Whatever works for you. See that nice big feather charm and briolette and stuff? That all goes on a jump ring, and that jump ring is going to live right over the top of that wire wrap.
I cannot live without this 6 millimeter
6 millimeter 18 gauge.
This jump ring, if I have nothing else in my bead studio, is this jump ring.
Because it's the 18 gauge. You were talking about how jump rings want to jump off. This is the gauge. If you were using this size but a skinnier gauge, just wouldn't work.
Right.
Right.
Right. I love this jump ring.
So you're going to go ahead
while you're talking, I'll just wire wrap this, okay?
So
Because we went over this
scoot you over.
Yeah, we went over this
bit.
on just the other day, right?
Yes. Yes, yes. And for briolet
I'm
wraps, you guys can go right over to beadshop.com to the skill builders
And
there.
I'm just showing that we use the 24 gauge, and it'll work with this beautiful briolet. Okay,
yeah, and that's
you're on.
Sydney.
Okay, and I'll finish this.
So what I've got here, this is that tassel from my office. And I wanted to show you guys, this is, I don't know, I made this a billion years ago. You recognize these beads, Janice?
I do.
This is
Are
Greek.
those the Greek?
Yeah.
Those are the
Remember
Greek.
how we had those?
Yes.
This is just a big ceramic bead that I had in my stash. And I've always loved tassels. I've always loved to make them. I've always loved to just have them hanging around as decor in my house. So I made this one so long ago, and it is a big tassel. Do you have the tape measure? Oh, it's right in front of me. There it is. I'm going to show you guys, so for scale, you guys can actually see how big it is. The tassel itself is about 5 inches long. And so I made it in the same way that we did that tassel on the card, but I used, I don't know, yarn. There's embroidery floss on here. There's just all kinds of random things. Then I made that tassel. Then I silk wrapped it up top here. But I had made some other little tassels already, right? So I laid in underneath where I silk wrapped. I laid these guys in. Then I silk wrapped them over, so there were 2 levels of tassel. Then these are old African, I don't know, they're like little, I'll turn it to the side so you guys can kind of see. They're kind of like our ostrich shell beads, only they're not the ostrich shell. They're a glass bead, but also African. And I just stitched them on.
You could also use just a button.
You can use a button, you can use anything.
Yeah.
But it's kind of fun to be able to embellish these. And this is a nice soft tassel, so you can get in there and stitch. Now this top cord, I wanted to show you guys how to do it. You've seen me do this before, but I thought it would be kind of a fun reminder to do this cord, because you can see we use this is our wood carving piece here, this serpentine piece we have. This one is our giant melon bead, I think. And then in our vintage finds section, you guys know we have so many of these carved, kind of flat carved components that would work really well for tassels. So let me show you how to make that cord real quick. And it's so fast. You could also, if you wanted a cord like this and put the hedgehog on the top of a tassel like that, you could make a nice thick cord like this and slide one of Cynthia's beads right on there with the big hole. So I'm going to go ahead, and for this I'm just using, I grabbed what I saw over on the shelf. This is Chinese knotting cord, 0.5 millimeters. And I'm going to do, you kind of need a double amount of what you're using, because it doubles over on itself, and you'll see me do that.
And you're not doing it with any kind of a form or anything? You're
No,
not using cardboard?
No, not at all. So this is about a foot, maybe a little bit more than a foot, and I'm going to cut this away doubled over, so it's about 2 feet doubled. And there are my thread snips. My thread snips. And now I'm just going to kind of tie a little knot. Now, Janice, when you see me do this, it's going to remind you of something else that we used to do way back in the day. Remember how we used to make our own wire needles?
Yes.
We need to do that again.
Yes.
Don't you think?
Yes.
So here I've tied a little knot right here. I've got my index finger, this is my right hand, my dominant hand. I'm just going to hold that knot in my finger, and I'm going to twist and twist and twist. And just like we did with the wire, making the wire needle, I'm gonna get it a little, my hand kind of in the middle here. And you can see how the twist is starting to twist nicely, but we want a twist that's pretty tight, okay? So I'm going to keep going, keep twisting, and I can feel now around my finger, oh, things are getting a little tight, but I can still move my finger around, so I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep twisting. It's a little tighter. Let me get it up. See, can you see, you guys, it's getting a little tight. Maybe just a couple more twists. Now I bring the ends together, here and here. See how it's starting to twist up on itself like this, right? I want to coax it to twist together.
Oh, that is so clever.
See that? And so
that's not even like right.
Right?
That's not even like, that shouldn't even happen.
What? What do you
That's
mean?
not, I mean, that's just like magic.
It's like magic.
Now, can you
Weavers
do
know
that
this
again?
trick.
Can you do that again and bring it up on itself? And even what would happen if
maybe.
you did it again?
Let me see. I'm going to tie another knot here to hold it all
I'm
together.
just curious. What would happen if it had to be a lot longer, but could you make it even more thicknesses? The same thing. Yeah,
probably. So let's see. It was twisted that way, so I want to twist it this way, going towards the twist. And this is how, if you are a weaver at all and you make your own scarves.
Look at that.
Right?
Look at that. It's doing it.
It's
doing it.
Would make your tassel fringe or your scarf fringe or whatever you're weaving, you'd make it the same way.
So that is this, but doubled.
But doubled. Yeah.
Look at that. Isn't that clever?
And so we would start, if we wanted it a twist on a twist, we would start instead of 2 yards, maybe we'd go 4 yards plus a little bit.
2 yards or
I'm
2
sorry,
feet?
2 feet, sorry. 2 feet plus a little bit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you have enough for knots.
I mean, be
and stuff
generous.
like that.
Don't like where you're, just stuck with a little bit.
But something like
that
this,
is so
you could
cool.
just even put a crimp, a transition, one of our transition crimps.
Yeah.
That would crimp there, right? This would kind of tassel it out, kind of. And then what you do is, I'm going to put a clamper there.
I mean, you can undo this so that you have what you want.
You how
but
this
I
might
just
look.
think that's.
I'm going to clamp it there so it stays together. So see what I've got here is
I've already got ideas.
Oh, I'm so glad.
On how we
so
could use this like in a necklace.
So I'm going to keep that open for just a second, okay? And let me show you, let me give you, see, this is how Free Tip Friday
just moves right.
This is what Free Tip Friday is all about.
Magic.
So see, watch what I'm going to do here.
How are you going to get it in there? Don't you have to open it?
So.
Or are you going to use a jump ring or something?
This is where I'm going to slide this off. It could all end in tears. You never know what's going to happen on Free Tip Friday, especially when Janice is here, because there's 2 of us to get into trouble. I know. So I'm going to hold that there.
Right.
Might be a little thick. I'm going to take a little bit off. There we go. I like the looks of that a little bit better. Snip it.
Right.
Snip this.
Okay.
Keep it together.
Oh, and
keep it together, Richburg. Keep it together.
You could tape it.
I could.
You could put a tape flag over it.
I could.
And that would hold it together. Oh, Richburg.
See what I'm saying?
A sheer genius.
Then
look at that.
I just go, hey guys, will you hand me another piece of that not the CKC, but the C-Long?
Sure.
Please and thank you.
Wow. This is like,
I don't know.
This is the money shot, Kate.
Well, we're just kind of playing around.
Do you want it in a different color?
No,
so
I think it's nice. I think this is
You want me to hold that while you're so good at this.
Then we're just going to come in. Let's do this, okay? Let's just wrap it. And, it's just if it all ended in tears, who cares? It's just a little investment in thread But this will hopefully give you guys some ideas. If you haven't made tassels with Chinese knotting cord, or as like we like to call it here at beachhub.com, CKC, it really makes you feel like you're making a treasure with these kind of the traditional Chinese knotting cord. So I pull it through, and now I'm pulling it down. See what I'm doing here? We're tightening it up. And see, that's, remember what, you might have even heard that. Remember how Janice said sometimes you pull it too hard and your knot pops through to the other end? That's what happened here. Because the Chinese knotting cord is slick.
Do you want to, is this one where you would put a little glue on it?
I just needed to
you don't really need
bring
to,
it back and see how I've tightened it. Now, see this thread coming off here? If I had made this cord intentionally longer, if I had wanted to stitch things in, I could use this cord to stitch things with.
How would you end it? Would you take a needle and bring it through the tassel a few times?
Or something.
Okay, so a regular sewing needle, after you put these on, you would stitch through, come out, stitch through.
Especially if it's something that has a large hole, I could use our tapestry needles for this. Or whatever, so I could use, if I were planning ahead and I knew that I had larger beads, it's just a way not to have to add.
ahead?
I know. Right?
What is up with that?
Ridiculous. But it's there if you want to use it. So now I'm going to clip this away, and I'm going to trim all of these, little ends. Yeah, my mom is mentioning, it's been about 25 years, at least 25 years, but I went to my mom's quilt guild, and I taught.
25 years ago you taught them?
At least 25. I taught, I don't know how many people were at that meeting. 20, 40, I don't know, people how to make a tassel all at the same time. It was pretty fun. But look at how cute this is. Now that is a cute, tiny little tassel, and I can unclip this. I'm going to very carefully, I think I'm actually going to re-clip it, and I'm going to try and take out some of these knots so I can just tie the knot up at the top. And Veronica's saying for long lengths of twisted cord, you can buy an inexpensive twister. Yeah, there are tools out there that you can use for cord twisters, definitely. And they work pretty well. I like the ability to just be able to twist and twist with my hands. Would you hand me, JP, one more length of, that seal-on?
About the same length?
Yeah, about the same. I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to close this off. I was wishing for a transition bead in my head, but thinking about it, this cord isn't very thick, so smushing it with a transition, it might look a little unwieldy. So I've used my clamper here, okay, and I've undone these knots. I'm going to silk wrap one more time, and I'm going to silk wrap the top closed. So I'll come here, we'll do this here, we'll lay it here, and we're just going to silk wrap it all. I'm telling you, silk wrapping way back in the day was the very first thing I learned behind the counter at the beach shop.
Yeah.
We had our old class director, Mia.
Yeah.
She was a sailor, and she would teach these incredible classes that were full of knots from sailing, from her sailing experience. Yeah. And this was a sailor's knot that when you lash ropes together and stuff. She taught me this, and I have used it. And then, Janice also used it really liberally, and we would do this technique called Stringing Techniques 2. It was an advanced stringing class, and we do the loop with the silk wrap. It was a lot of fun. We should do that again, that silk wrapped loop. But see how now I've closed it up?
Yeah, I could see it kind of pop into the center.
And now I'm going to trim all this up, and it's nice and tight. Nothing's going to happen. If I like the way that this loop is, I could leave it, but I kind of like having a little fringe also at the top. So I'm going to open all of this stuff up, actually. I'm going to open up that one. I'm going to open up that one. So I've got a little kind of tassel up here. Give it a little bit of a cut. Slide that out of the way. And very carefully clip that. Okay.
Wow.
So let me get a little bit tighter so you guys can see that. So that, let's get your tassel in here too.
Okay.
Janice, your little. So if you wanted to add, I don't know, you could have something longer in here. You could add it with a jump ring, even, I don't know, on the other side.
That's right,
or,
yep.
You know, I don't know, whatever. But it's kind of a fun, I think, inspiration. But look at how I think it just looks really charming.
Great. Looks great.
Charming,
it's
charming.
very charming.
So
yeah.
So that's it.
Okay.
It. Easy peasy. You're going to put your little rings on there. So
right.
Why don't you finish
so
that guy
what I did here is I put my favorite jump ring right around the wire wrap so that it's hanging freely. And I do that first, and then I can add whatever I want to that, so that I have a nice free moving dangle. And I
so
just
that dangle doesn't catch on something and come
right.
off.
So I'm just going to wiggle the jump ring closed, check that it's not, there's no burr on it, and so there's the one, and then I can add I can either add it to the feather jump ring, or I can add it to the main jump ring. It's really it's just where you want it to hang.
Look at how pretty also. Something like that wire wrap briolet, Janice. We could also open up that twist.
And put it on, why don't we put it on right there?
And wouldn't that be, it would be such a charming little earring. I'm going to take one of these. I think maybe we'll see if it looks good. Doubled over. Open that up. Slide that on, slide it in.
Close it up.
Close it like you mean it. There we go.
Look how lovely that looks.
So it's just a little way to kind of incorporate, you know, we always want you to take these ideas that we present and, you know, if you want to make the same thing, you do it, you go. But also, you can use these as a springboard for, you know, all kinds of things. This, you could, you know, create an earring out of this, you know, this kind of soft tassel. It would look great. You
and maybe use like a little bead cap or
a little bead cap or something to go over the top.
It off.
But it would be really nice. So for this, for the wrist mala and your Never Stop Growing mala, these guys, the instruction can all be found over on beadshop.com. If you go to our project section, right now it's on the right front and center of the homepage, so you can just click on that. But Drea will have the episode notes in there on
Tuesday.
Monday or Tuesday. Yeah, she'll have them over and you can download them and stuff and go to your heart's content. But Janice also has her great mala project up on beadshop.com. If you go to projects and scroll down there, click on malas, there's a whole bunch of learning there and stringing and all kinds of stuff. And I love how you guys have already, just 2 days after the broadcast, have jumped in and started to create some really beautiful things. So
I love it.
It looks great.
I love it. It's like we're all together in one space.
Yeah, together, creating. Well, it really looks good, Janice. I'm going to move any last thing we need to show this direction? Someone asked to see my earrings, so I'll pull it down.
Look at that.
Put it there. It's just a little. We were mentioning classes. We're going to have so much fun.
But you know, just look at this. This is not just throw it together. Look at the copper. Is that blue enameling in there?
No, it's I antiqued it with liver of sulfur, so it has that nice look.
Then the little bird and the little rose. Look at this, and then you put a little dot.
A little flower. Yep, the little granules.
Turn it over. You know. Turn it over, please.
There it is.
Look at how beautiful
how clean it is.
Now, how come you didn't sign it?
You know, I I don't.
Where's your stamp?
These were just quick samples, so I didn't
quick samples are not. You put your stamp on.
I know. I stamp most things.
Yeah. I mean, your
I'm
work
not
is distinctive.
well,
you know, it would be hard for
mostly they
someone to say, you know, that it's not yours. You
Yes,
definitely.
well,
But
you.
that would also be a great Free Tip Friday, is to talk about
Yeah.
how you design and what makes your work distinctive, because it is.
Oh.
It is. And
Thanks.
you know, you wanted, I think this would also segue into now is a good time to purchase your books.
Yeah, I'll turn this around. I'm gonna center this. But yeah, we do have my books here on beadshop.com. You guys can find them there. And when you are looking, if you just search, if you just type in book, really, in our search bar,
or Kate Richburg,
you'll find it. Yeah,
Kate
you'll
Richburg.
find it there. And so, but we've got those going on. So if you do want to jump in with the metalsmithing, we've got a good supply of those going on. Look at that. Look at how great this camera rig
fabulous.
is working,
Now just
Janice.
get back here, because I feel all alone.
Well, you're not. You won't be alone. You won't be alone for long. It's kind of fun. We're getting this together. Here we are. Look at that. Alrighty.
I had so much fun today.
It was. It was really a fun, good show.
Yeah.
There we are.
Good
together.
show. Good week.
Good one. Good one.
Yep.
I'm going to put us up a little bit tighter. And yes, don't worry, I'll sign the books, I promise.
Yes.
If you, you can even write in the notes if you want me to sign, whatever you want me to sign, I'll sign it. It's no problem. There we go. So there we go. Great. We're up. We're all good.
Great.
So thank you so much. It was such a good week.
It was a great week.
It was
Katie.
great to have
Great
you. We're already
I had the best
planning
time. Yes,
your
I'm
next
planning my
adventure.
next sojourn out.
Yes.
My next projects. I've got more projects than I have time, but
But Janice always gets them done. She always gets them
I
out.
try.
True. We're gonna have you've got some really great you've got some stuff you're working with pearls.
Yes.
We've got new chain coming where
Yes.
Janice is gonna be working with the
New
chain.
leather.
New leather, the leather. Wait till
New
you see it.
sliders.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
New stones.
So much.
Yeah.
Yes, those stones are
Yeah.
juicy. So we're gonna see you guys, or I will see you guys. You'll see Janice on the typing, moderating. I'll see you next week for patterning with stones, and then the following week, Emily will be here with me. So it'll be like old home week again.
Yeah.
So, but Janice is coming back soon. We're gonna do another fun project. So thanks you guys so much. Do jump over to the website. You can find all of that info on beadshop.com. Make sure also, if you haven't done it already, sign up for our newsletter.
Please.
It's the way that you stay in touch with us for all of our giveaways and our discounts and all kinds of good stuff. So
do you want to tell them the
make
discount
sure,
this week?
Yeah, so this week, if you are watching this, today is March 15th. And if you go through actually on Monday, and our newsletter subscribers got this special code, so I'm going to share it with you guys too. If you go to our website right now and you look on the homepage, it says Janice is back and save with JP20.
Right.
Well, if you're a newsletter subscriber, you actually got a little bit of a better discount code, and that discount code is JP25. All one word, JP25, and it's good until Monday, the 18th of March at midnight Pacific time. So you can throw that in. Gita just linked it in the notes here in the feed, so it's great. Thank you so much for doing that. And you will save 25%. It's store-wide, Janice.
Yep.
So stock up on your Chinese knotting cord, stock up on your Ceylon, all that good stuff. Okay. So thank you. Thank you. You're welcome.
Aww.
And we'll see you guys next week on Facebook Live. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having us.
All right. Talk to you guys soon.
Bye.
Bye.